That
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boys, Petey and Cal. Cal, say what's rocking.
Ready to rock.
Hey, what's
Petey,
going
give us.
on?
All right. Hey, so today we're talking about this new Superman spoiler. It's a big leak. I mean, it's something that should have kept under wraps, but somehow it got out. It seems as
Hmm.
though it's going to be Bradley Rocket Raccoon Cooper is going to be Jor-El. So, of course, before I give it to our resident Calvin Ellis, I'm going to talk to Petey about this. Petey, what's your take on this? Do you think this is something that you know it goes against cast, or is this something better than what we've seen previously in the past?
I mean, you're trying to say, ask to compare Jor-El's, right? So I can't really. I mean, obviously, as far as film, yeah, Marlon Brando playing the part of Jor-El. Even though they talk of the struggles on set, having put lines all over the place, the performance we got stellar. Even though he decided his own pronunciation of Krypton, everything works on it. But so it's a tough act to follow. Russell Crowe, I don't think you did much you had to worry about with him. I think it was pretty much forgettable, even though he had a very long opening scene. Hopefully, this is a cameo and not the Jor-El scene of the other one, which was just like, what movie am I in right now? What is going on, and why are they trying to sell me on this codex thing, which we know is not going to amount to anything. So, but obviously Bradley Cooper was the voice talent to Rocket. So and at the same time, he's a 12-time Academy nominee. That's great.
12 times? Wow.
That's what it says here. So, but so look at this. At the same time, it's funny because when I mean, there's nothing. Obviously, he could do this role. There's nothing. There's no question about this sort of thing. The thing is that Bradley Cooper, in when I first saw him, was in Alias, and he was supposedly the guy in the friend zone. So it was just kind, and he was playing kind of guy with self doubt. You can see that, but at the same time, you're like, well, this is kind of the Hollywood leading man playing down. I guess kind of like to bring the old school was it bringing up baby type of thing. But ultimately, this works, and I should work. I mean, unless they turn as the den of nerds said, it's all jokes. If they have a Jor-El telling jokes, but I mean, Jor-El has a part. It's probably going to be a flashback since there's going to be a lot of stuff already set up here. So we'll be flashing back to Jor-El, flashing back to Superboy, and possibly Superboy with Crypto, flashing back to some Krypton stuff. So it's a lot of movie to deal with, but maybe it's something from the past leading to the future. Same way we got in the Superman movies. There's a lot of things that can happen here. So yeah, I have no issue with this. What can I say?
I mean, I have no issues with this. I think it's actually pretty good. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, we all know that the Guardians of the Galaxy characters are going to start popping up all over this doggone movie, right? I mean, these are the people who were close with him. He's very
The
popular.
characters or the actors?
The actors, sorry, the actors. My apologies. Yeah, the actors. So I expect that to happen, and I don't think that having Rocket Raccoon on the show doesn't hurt at all. I think it's a good idea to do. I mean, the one thing that surprised me in looking over doing a little research on this episode is that they say that Russell Crowe, Dragon Rider Jor-El, was in some communities that he was the best Jor-El over, Marlon Brando. Which is to me, it's hard to fathom. So let's listen to what our resident expert tells.
Well, wait, they're saying that Bradley Cooper is the best Jor-El, and we haven't even seen him.
No, no,
No,
no.
no, Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe. Sorry, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe better than Marlon Brando.
Yep. I've seen some articles like that. The CBR community and a couple of others read it that they liked him better. They thought that
You
Marlon
can't
Brando.
take any of that. Unfortunately,
But I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying, what's your take on it? What
no,
do you?
no, I'm about to respond to it because unfortunately, you can't take stuff like that seriously because I'm pretty certain when you go into the reasons that has nothing to do with acting. All right, uh, Marlon Brando. Okay, because Marlon Brando's Jor-El was not very animated. He was very stoic,
Yes.
but gave a lot of gravitas to that particular role and just what he did there. Russell Crowe was, I mean, that was Jor-El as action man. You know, the guy's flying on a beast, swimming through the water. He's over here fighting. Two totally different things at the end of the day. But then you have to say which of these two performances really espouse, Jor-El the character. That's Brandon, easily. So when they say it's better, they just like it more. They're not making an analysis, based on, okay, well, wait a minute, who's this character supposed to be? Remember, Jor-El is supposed to be a scientist, right? And then we get a scene in Man of Steel where he's fighting Zod, who was already pre-programmed from birth to be a soldier, and he's beating it. So all that stuff, there's a whole bunch of contradictory stuff going on. I don't, it's hard. It's so hard for me to give these guys any credence because they just knee jerk go with whatever they like, and then they'll justify it there. They're not thinking much beyond that. And in terms of the casting, hey, great casting. Bradley Cooper, who wouldn't want Bradley Cooper to be their father, right? Excellent. I like it.
I mean, I think every time we talk about Superman, it's just like there's always like a war going on. There's always people. It just seems to polarize people. I just don't understand why.
Because of Man of Steel.
It's like, geez, it's no matter what you do. I feel bad for DC because it's like, I mean, not DC. Warner Brothers is like, no matter where you go, you're gonna step on something.
And that's their fault. Right? Warner Brothers. This is back from. I said this before. This is back from 1978. Okay? When they sold the rights to the Salkins, these guys were sniggering because they thought, hey, we're getting free money because nobody's going to be able to make a Superman movie. That guy's impossible. And then when they pulled it off, they were like, wait a minute, huh? And then they quickly went back to renegotiate because they were like, no. They lost money on that negotiation, but they have never believed that this particular character was suitable for film. They definitely, once Batman clicked, and it wasn't with 1989. Okay, it was later on with the Batman Begins, Batman the Dark Knight. Once he really took a hit with those, they were like, okay, great, we got it. Put this dude in the car, put him in some armor. We got the Hollywood fittings on him. Perfect. Superman, oh, good grief. What do we do with this? What do we do with this guy? He's a fantasy character set in the real world. Alien, can't be hurt. No. We don't want. They don't really believe that this character has, or rather, Batman's easier. He's cooler, according to them. And even though they own both characters, they only truly believe that they can manipulate one successfully. When they decided to do that Man of Steel movie, and I've already said this before, that was by a court order. The court said, you're not making Superman movies. If you don't, we're going to give the rights back to these guys. So Man of Steel was Superman. This time it's for the money. And they gave it to Zack Snyder. And they're like, look, let's try to make him more look like Batman, not the same characters. The trouble is, that was the first movie and the first introduction to Superman for a good number of people. And they liked it. Okay? They liked it. And of course, if that's your introduction, that's the character most guys tend to rock with. So then you followed Man of Steel, you did Batman v Superman, you did Justice League. You want to see more. You don't feel this guy's gotten a fair shot. That Man of Steel movie divided Superman fans down the middle. Okay, down the middle. A lot of them came back after Batman v Superman and Justice League, but it divided Superman fans down the middle. That's on Warner Brothers. They decided that they wanted to have a Superman that was conversely different than what we knew of. Didn't take, audiences, in general, didn't take with that particular portrayal. So now we're going back here, but you still have these guys who are like, no, they want that particular guy. So this is another reason why you need to have a successful film, because you really need to close the door on that Zack Snyder era. And if it's not successful, the first thing you'll hear, oh, look, see, we told you. You really need to be successful for those reasons as well. You have to you don't need to just turn the page. You need to turn the page and close the book on that particular era.
But I don't think the comics help out sometimes, especially this new Absolute with the portrayal of the Jor-El and in how he's portrayed as a lowly low caste scientist, or what is it, farmer. It just seems like they don't want to take the character. They no longer take the character Jor-El as a serious character, as a character who has gravitas, who knows what's happening beforehand and planned. Remember, he planned for his son to escape. He planned for the Fortress of Solitude. He planned for all this stuff, right? But here it's like, Jor-El is not the same. I guess ever since you had Russell Crowe, that iteration of him, the way the L's have been treated is just a little disappointing, I gotta say.
Well, they decided to. The theme with Jor-El is the theme of father and son, and then that became an issue because then people said, "Well, what about his mother?" And I'm like, "What about her?" the theme that we're going with is father and son, not mother and child, but father and son. So you have that particular interaction. But then they decided they were going to tweak with it, where even on Smallville, Jor-El was portrayed as a real jackass. And then they started, elevating his mom more. Now, even in the comics, they're both scientists. They're both getting this together. You go to the Absolute story, Jor-El gets abducted. Laura's coming in to rescue her, and I'm like, who's taking care of Cal? This kid's just on his own at the end of the day. So those particular issues and their hesitance, okay, to say, no, 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 we're going to exemplify the father in this particular, not the parents, okay, not the mom, but we're going to exemplify the father here. That is, that's an issue. People don't want, people are like, oh, well, where's his mom at the end of the day? Forgetting that, no, you can have the theme of just father and son. That's fine. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. We get plenty of mother and child and not enough of father and son. So, but when they do that, you undermine the really strong connection, okay, that was given to us by Marlon Brando in those original films. We still got it with John Kent and John Kent and Clark Kent at the end of the day, but they're working on undoing that too. Well, Martha's got to get her sense in, but that is the only real function that Jor-El has. That he is a scientist who develops this and gets his son off to safety, and then they play around with it a little bit more. That he leaves this repository of information so that Superman can know about Krypton. That it's not just completely forgotten. But that's it. That's pretty much all this guy can do. He's dead. He can only live in that particular function, and they continuously undermine that because they're not comfortable with the theme of father and son. That's just not going to rock for them for whatever reason. They even did it on Superman and Lois, where the first season Jor-El is there. He's providing guidance, and then somehow his AI becomes corrupted, so he's gone. But thankfully, his mother can come back for the next 3 seasons of the show. So that's something that they have definitely been pushing for a very long time. Hopefully, with Bradley Cooper, we can get back to that theme because it was very poignant and it worked.
Okay. I mean, well, that's good. That's good. But yeah, so then you agree that Russell Crowe doesn't hold a candle to him, right? The Marlon Brando.
No, Russell Crowe, great actor. I like Russell Crowe. Love them in Gladiator. So it's not about Russell Crowe. It's about the direction, and the direction is action. Okay, that was the direction. That was a big part of the Man of Steel movie. Action, even if it's stuff that doesn't necessarily jive. I could never have seen Marlon Brando as Jor-El getting into a fight, doing a ray gun. He's supposed to be this very cerebral, very acerbic, character, very logical. But that scene where he's having the debate with Laura and she says he'll be alone, and he holds up the crystal and he's like, he will never be alone. Okay, and then you see how poignant that is because he's left everything that he needs, or rather everything about them, in this particular crystal. And then later on, when he's speaking with them, telling him how much he's given his only son to this earth, and he can he eventually, as things go on, he can help them to become a great people. That's it. With just his words, he establishes the love and demeanor of a father to his son in this particular manner. We didn't really get that with Russell Crowe's portrayal of Jor-El. That's not on him. That's on that particular director. We see him give him a suit and tell him, hey, go test your abilities, and the next thing he's flying.
Okay.
I think with Russell Crowe, it's kind of felt like, why are we gonna waste? We got to get our money's worth. Have a whole scene where he's doing something. You can't just have him have the Kodaks and then he just puts the Kodaks in there, or they tell him we're gonna just do that. No, we're gonna do a whole big to do. He's gonna fly. We're gonna do some. We're gonna be a whole bunch of graphics, and right before they die, it's gonna be even more stuff here. We're gonna do all this stuff with them. I feel like we're spending all this money on Russell Crowe. Let's at least have him do something in the film. And Russell Crowe's like perfect. Then the problem is if you buy into that Krypton, right? The other part is that when Superman is on the ship in Man of Steel, I think it feels like Jor-El doesn't just appear and start talking to him. He starts like sliding in and sliding out. It's like, yo, what is going on in this movie? So, for me, none of it worked, but it just seemed like, how do we add some more tension and more interest and stuff like that? How do we get more bang for our buck with him? And how do we also give the fans something different too? So it's just kind of a waste of a person. Then of course the fight, which I forgot about. But it's I don't know. It's just to bring up the Man of Steel being some people's movies because Superman fought, and they did the movie, the Hancock, those are the Hancock and the Matrix Revolutions fight where they're hitting into everything. It's just kind of it's just kind of a little much. It was always a little much for me. So having Jor-El just come in and speak, talk to the council, be told not to be able to go anywhere, and then he's like, "Yo, we gotta get out of here." It's simple enough because basically you could start the movie just with the rocket, with the Krypton exploding and the rocket going, and then comes to Earth, and you start your movie. But now we have Bradley Cooper, and we're gonna see how this plays out. And will it be something where I mean, the way they're going, he might just go do one of those. I think one of the early ones, he didn't actually able to go into the Silver Age. He doesn't actually fly into time. He kind of gets into some sort of ship, and then they're like, "We're not wasting any time. He's just gonna fly to Krypton in the past." I think they're doing a story that's similar to it. They already did it with Mark Waid, where Superman goes to Krypton and he interacts with his father. The father doesn't immediately recognize him and doesn't think the clothes he has on is odd in the comic. But that's in the old comic. But it's a thing. Who knows how much he was? It's a cameo, so it should just be a scene of the end of it. But we don't know what it could be. It could be him going and meeting, the woman on Krypton that looks similar to Supergirl, and that he kind of dates for a little while. It could be anything in these type of stories. Who knows what James Gunn picks out? Could just be a simple, like, what's the name, but at the same time they wanted their money's worth with Russell Crowe. They might want their money's worth with Jor-El. So
Bradley Cooper.
Oh, sorry, Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
Hey, I guess, is there anything else?
Play it. Jor-El should not be a hard role to play. And, I think if you, again, go back with that theme, father and son, you knock it out of the park. The second you try to, everybody's got to get a slice, I don't know how much mileage you get.
Okay. All right. I agree. I don't think it should be that hard to play. So, hey, it was pretty interesting that in the chat, if you see PD, I put in a picture of all 7 Supermans who were in, except for James Cavill, who was having a baby. This is back in I think back in January, when they had the Fan Expo in New Orleans, and you see all Superman. You had Dean Cain, you had Tom Welling, you had George Newbern, who was the animated voice for animated Justice League. You had Tim Daly, animated Superman. You had Tyler Hoechlin, who will be, I think, in the Philadelphia Fan Expo coming up. I think it's in May. And you also have Brandon Routh, and you have Henry Cavill. Well, Henry Cavill couldn't make it, but it was pretty interesting you saw all these guys here. I didn't realize that Routh was that much taller than the others.
Yeah, I was surprised that Tom Welling was tall, but he don't seem as that much taller than Dean Cain. I always thought Dean Cain was really short, but with the rest of the guys, it doesn't look. I mean, there's been so many people in the Lois and Clark series that were taller than him. It's kind of odd, but now he doesn't look that short. So
Hoechlin does not look that short. He's as tall as Dean Cain, and possibly even Tom Welling.
Who are you saying?
Hoechlin, like you were just saying, Tyler Hoechlin. He looks like he's their same height.
Which one is Tyler?
He's next to Brandon Routh.
That's the guy from the Lois. What's the name? The
Newest show, the newest
Lois
Lois
show.
show.
Okay, yeah, yeah. No, I thought he had some height to him. I
Yeah,
was
people say
looking
he's
at
so
He,
short, but he's not.
Dean Kane
he's
is the
6 feet
one that.
tall,
Yeah.
Huh?
or at least he's listed at 6 feet. He's listed at 6 feet tall.
Okay.
I'm just saying he doesn't look that short compared to the others. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think 6 feet tall is short.
Right, but I'm just saying. But I think you were like, we can rehash that another day.
No,
But
this is
go.
one thing about Dean Kane. That was the one that I seen him compare Superman in the show, and there'd be people that were taller than him, and I was just like, I'm not sure about this. And then,
Dean Kane also lists himself at 6 feet tall.
that is, he ain't no 6 feet tall.
Maybe not here. I don't know how tall. I don't know if he's lost an inch or two in height.
No inch or two. He ain't no goddamn 6 feet.
Tom Welling, still about the same. Tom Welling, Brandon Routh, easily the two tallest people there. And I can't. The guy in the middle, that's just some guy taking a picture with them, right?
Definitely.
Who's that? Hold on. It's Brandon Routh, Tyler Hoechlin. I can't make out that other guy. Can't make out that guy.
I'll
Dean
go over
Cain.
Tom Welling, Dean Kane. Then you have a guy named George Newberg.
They're the
Okay,
voices.
voice actor.
They're animated voices.
Then you have Tim Daly,
Voice
right.
actor.
Then you have Tyler Hoechlin, and then Brandon Routh.
Right. Notice who's not there. Ha ha ha!
He
No, I'm
had
joking.
a baby.
He didn't have a baby. His wife had a baby.
Who had a baby?
He has to be there.
Who?
Henry Cavill. That's why he's not there. He'll see
His
what
wife? He's married? When did he get married?
I don't know if he's married, but is he married?
He can have a kid. And...
Well, I'll be married, yeah.
Duh. I just don't know if he's married.
I mean, do I have to explain the basics?
Yes, you gotta explain to me who's his wife. That would be very
I
basic.
didn't say his wife. I said I don't know if he's married. His partner. They're not married.
You guys said wife.
I didn't say that.
Run the tape back. Run back the tape.
And run back the tape, guys.
I said his.
Good Lord. Natalie Busco, his girlfriend.
His girlfriend. Let me see what he had there. Since you're not sure how babies.
Busco. She looks kind of like that actress. No, now the close-up she don't look like. She looks in the wide shot. Right? No.
I'm not sure when the baby showed up, but it showed up. You know. But yeah, so that's it there. I mean, other than the Lois being Superwoman, I think we've covered all we have to talk about Superman today, right?
Lois is gonna become Superwoman in this movie?
Nah, I think there was like a comic book cover of her on it.
The back. With the actress, they got her in a Superwoman outfit.
Yeah, no. This is just they just had a cover I saw once of Superwoman with Lois Lane. I was like, what? Lois Lane is Superwoman? I don't think so.
Let's hope not. So this guy is a Superman guy. He goes by Mike L. He's in the middle.
I think it was a comic book, right? Right?
For real? His name is Mike L. Mike L. Okay.
Mike L. Burns.
That's the cosplayer.
Yeah, Mike L.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right, hey, so if there's nothing else, let me wrap it up. Hey, if you guys like what you see, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, spin a rock.
We are out.